Mario & Luigi Partners in Time is the second installment in the Mario & Luigi series, as well as the first of its kind on the DS. This game is loved by many and hated by many. Personally, I love the game, as I do all in the franchise, but we'll get into that later. So, without further ado, let's get started. This game starts off with a dark and serious tone, and stays that way for the rest of the game. Princess Peach takes a trip in a time machine, and ends up captured by the evil shrooms, causing Mario and Luigi to go looking for her. They head straight to the past, and end up uniting with their past selves. They then set out on a journey to find all the Cobalt Star Shards, so they can reunite them and save Peach. This game is criticized for many things, like battle mechanics and level grinding, but one thing that's not criticized for is story. The story in this game is done so well, from comedic cutscenes to serious, intense moments. This story was constructed so well. It definitely stands out when compared with the other stories because of its dark and morbid theme, which makes for a very specific and memorable experience. Generally a great story with very few flaws. The battle system. You're gonna hate me by the end of this. Many have criticized the battle mechanics of Partners in Time. People say the battles are too hard and the system of buying bros attacks isn't well done, but I have to disagree. Hold your horses, let me explain. I can definitely see the flaws, but I think it's an overall good idea. Stacking bros attacks was generally easy for me, and the extra challenge of the fight was fun for me. I don't consider the battle system great, just not as bad as others might.
Let's go.
Okay people, pitchforks away. Let's move on to the bosses. The bosses in Partners in Time are very good. Each boss was different from the next, and they were all enjoyable battles, but none of them really blew my mind. Nothing was too special about them, making them good and not great. Field commands are fun, but could quickly become tedious. The possibilities with 2 adult bros and 2 baby bros led to many great ideas, but they could get repetitive after a while. Overall, the field mechanics were great though, leading to many fun puzzles and interesting ways of getting around the map. As a whole, the gameplay of Partners in Time was good, but flawed. Many say this is the most lacking part of the game, and I would agree. It has many redeeming qualities, and was still an overall good experience, but just not totally up to the standard of all the other games. The graphics in this game are much more crisp than the previous, and they use the capability of the DS to its fullest extent. The style was all around done well, and fit the game's atmosphere. The artwork of these areas really set the mood for how dark the game is. For example, Holly Jolly Village. This art style fits the game mood very well. The music. Partners in Time has some really great music. They each fit the area quite well, and were catchy in a good way. The style isn't my personal favorite, but I still think the soundtrack is overall very good. Some pieces weren't the best, but others fit the game perfectly. For example, or another one. The score had some great tunes, and some other not so great tunes, but as a whole made for an amazing soundtrack. The final chapter of the story is definitely an interesting one. The main antagonist throughout the game, Princess Shrew, ends up in an epic final battle with you, but it feels all too easy. Then, you finish the battle and reunite the Cobalt Star, which, when done, releases Elder Princess Shroob. This battle is a very hard battle, living up to the final battle of Superstar Saga quite well. It would have been a truly great finale to the game, but for whatever reason, after you beat here and the story is complete, Nintendo tacks on a less than satisfactory Bowser battle. This, in my opinion, was a bad move by Nintendo, who had no reason to add this on. That aside, the ending of Partners in Time was wonderful, but not without that critical flaw. As a whole, Partners in Time was not the game we expected or necessarily wanted, but was still a great game overall. While it did mess up in some areas, it did well in most, making for an overall great game in the franchise. Thank you guys so much for watching this second installment of Mario & Luigi Month V2, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one. Until then, stay awesome.